had some technical issues, I think. We heard from some people that had encountered some problems with the link. If you use the Eventbrite link, then you're here with us. If not, I hope you can manage. Anyway, we can start, and that's us. The son of IBM founder, Thomas J. Watson Jr. said, "Wild ducks are the creative ones. They are the restless explorers who are always looking for a new angle on a big problem." I'm thrilled to see so many wild ducks here with us today, and especially the people behind Hadassah Accelerator powered by IBM AlphaZone. Their vision and entrepreneurial spirit of betting on something new in order to change the world is the essence of Hadassah Accelerator. Good morning again and welcome to our third demo day. The new normal is already here after a year in which we have gathered by ourselves and far from each other. On the other hand, it was a learning curve for us, from a personal, business, and family side. The year not only challenged the way we work, but also the way we engage with each other. I can proudly say that this cohort is a true testimonial of how one can turn a crisis into an opportunity. And all of this would not be possible without the continuing support of our strategic partner, CBG, and all of our content partners that are always stand by whenever it's needed. Brooks Carrot, KPMG, Ehrlich Group, Perel Cohen, and Poalim High-Tech, just to name the few officials. I would also like to thank the management team of Hadassah Medical Center, the R&D and Helsinki teams led by Professor Zeev Rothstein, Professor Oren Levy, and Professor Eyal Mishani. To Dr. Tamar Raz, the CEO of Hadassah Tech Transfer Company, and my right hand, Ariel Rabin, the VP Business Development at Hadassah. For the local support of Olga and Shai Meltzer, the CEO of Biomarkerz Jerusalem, and Itzik Ozer and his team from the Jerusalem Development Authority. And my final thanks go to my colleagues from IBM AlphaZone. Thank you so much, everyone. And now, please join me in welcome Dr. Tamar Raz, the CEO of Hadassah. Hadassah is playing a critical role in pushing and infusing innovation from and into Hadassah. And the accelerator is one of the important channels to make that a reality. Dr. Tamar, over to you. Thank you.
Dear friends, colleagues, our partners at IBM AlphaZone, at the Jerusalem Development Authority, at CBG Investment Group from the UK, and many others that are here with us at the audience. It's a special pleasure for me to welcome you all. I'm sure you will hear great lectures and presentations from the graduating companies of our third cohort of Hadassah Accelerator in a few minutes. I just want to say a few words about our point of view as the technology transfer of Hadassah, how we see the accelerator, and where we see our success and our points where we help the companies in a, I think, very important way. So our vision when we created the accelerator a few years ago was to pick companies that have great ideas, mainly in digital health space, and bring them and contact them as quickly as possible to key opinion leaders and to the champions at Hadassah that will say, we like this idea, we would like to help them, we would like to see this solution in our clinic. And in this regard, we pick the companies in a very unique way, trying to find only the companies that we can really help them at Hadassah. So when we look at companies graduating this class, the third class, and also the classes before, classes 1 and 2 before them, I think we can look back and see very nice success. From this class, 4 out of the 5 companies are already working with Hadassah. From the other cohorts, some of the companies are advancing, already starting their clinical trials, working with physicians and doctors. And this is very important because this is a key element in the future success of all these companies. So I wish you all good luck. I hope you will continue to bloom and raise lots of money and bring your solutions to patients as quickly as possible. And I hope that you, all audience, will have a great time listening to their presentations in a few minutes. Thank you and have a great time.
Thank you, Tamar. And now I would like to welcome Professor Zev Rothstein, who couldn't be with us today, but we have him recorded up front. Professor Rothstein, the Director General of Hadassah, and the visionary behind the accelerator. Professor Rothstein, please.
Dear friends, Hadassah Accelerator, powered by IBM AlphaZone, is celebrating with the companies graduating class 3 of the accelerator. Our partners include IBM AlphaZone, the Jerusalem Development Authorities, and the Consensus Business Group. 16 companies graduated the accelerator until now, 5 of them today. Hadassah today is an ideal ecosystem for health tech startups in their journey to success, and it's ideal ecosystem for health tech companies. 4 out of the 5 companies graduating today already have active collaboration with Hadassah. 3 already started clinical trials. The companies flowhow, Olive Diagnostics, Big Light, and Baibys are already working within Hadassah. The 6 last month of the accelerator operation were working in a very challenging times. It was a great example for joint work, collaboration, and excellence. The joint efforts of the great companies and leading clinicians will bring innovation and much needed new technologies and medical solutions to patients, to Hadassah, and to the hospitals and medical system all over the world. It is just the beginning, and I'd like to wish you all good luck and very successful clinical life.
Thank you, Zev. Thank you, Zev. And we really appreciate the continuing support of the entire medical center of Hadassah, especially throughout the tough days and months in the past few months. And now, let's get started. Each of the 5 graduates will have 5 minutes speech, followed by a short Q&A session. To join the Q&A session, you can send us your questions via the chat box, or just tell us you want to have a question, and we welcome you to join on live and ask the question. And now, I would like to introduce you with the first graduate. Amit Keren will introduce his startup flowhow. Amit Keren is the founder and CEO of flowhow, the future of imaging workflow at the point of care.
Hi, my name is Amit Keren, and one of the things I like to do in my free time is read books. If you like sci-fi, I recently finished the Strugatsky Brothers Roadside Picnic. Really cool stuff. But there are plenty of other things to read in the world. So pick up something that tickles your fancy. Hi, these amazing people, known as radiologic technologists, are healthcare providers' first responders when it comes to understanding what's happening inside patients' bodies. When time is life for things like stroke, and understanding is life for things like cancer, they are there. But in today's data-enhanced world, they're basically flying blind. They don't know how many exams are run or what the utilization rate of machines are. They have no visibility. And lack of visibility costs healthcare providers money and much more. When time is slipping, or they can't see errors, or they can't feel if people are dissatisfied, nothing good will come of it. So, how can we help these talented individuals improve quality, efficiency, and patient satisfaction? My name is Amit Karen, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Flowhow. We help healthcare providers drive results by saving time and money through visibility and actionable insights at the radiology point of care. By modeling exam and workflow data via devices like the Radiology Information System, modalities like CT, and the Picture Archive, and combining it with cloud-based machine learning, we provide teams visibility and actionable insights at the machine, protocol, and technologist level. Flowhow is a simple browser-based solution that enables radiologic technologists to intuitively see, monitor, and improve workflows on a daily basis, saving hospitals time and money, and all for a simple annual subscription fee. In the US alone, the market for unnecessary imaging is estimated at $12 billion per year. Of that, $3 billion is for quality and efficiency alone. That is our starting point. For example, a US-based hospital generating $26.6 million in annual revenue for 30,000 CT exams can add up to $1.6 million in additional revenue with almost no additional cost just by adding one exam per device per day. And that is for CT alone. The workflow optimization landscape is not without competition. Big iron vendors like GE, Siemens, and Philips all have solutions, but these solutions are geared at selling devices like CTs and MRIs, and they reflect this. Other vendors focus on well-defined regulated areas like dose management. We have a stellar team. Professor Yuval Alovich is co-founder of Morphisec and an expert in anomaly detection. Professor Yuval Shachar is an MD and an expert in medical decision support systems. Yochai is an expert in data science infrastructure. Lynn and Einat are standout programmers, and I bring over 25 years of industry experience. And we have great advisors too. Professor Jacob Sosna is the chair of radiology at Hadassah. Natalie Greenbaum is the lead CT technologist, and Professor Tim Siskutovich is a leading CT researcher. We're currently working with Hadassah on our visibility and actionable insight solution, and we're working with 2 additional healthcare providers. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank IBM and Hadassah for their invaluable support in making Flowhow a success. The market is ripe, the team is right, the solution is ready. I look forward to speaking to you afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit. Amit is with me now, taking your questions, and welcome, Amit.
Thank you, Yaniv.
What a wonderful pitch.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. We've learned a lot and had a lot of things to do with Hadassah and IBM during this journey.
But yet you have a lot of work to do going forward. And my question, first question to ask you is, who are your target customers and why?
So that's a great question, Yaniv. So our target customers, or our initial target customers, are healthcare providers. There are 2 primary reasons for this. 1, it's more measurable and marketable. And 2, having been someone who worked for a 200,000 person company, big companies don't really sell new solutions very well. They need time and they need solutions that sell themselves.
I see. And what else differentiates you from the others? You have competition like GE and Philips. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So there are a lot of great companies in the healthcare space with a very significant legacy, but their services are very high touch and require significant upfront investment. Just installation alone costs over $100,000. So what we try to bring is more of the democratization, more flexible, more affordable, faster, things that are not in their inherent nature today.
Well, thank you very much. Anything else you want to add before we move to our next picture?
So what I'd like to add is to thank everybody again who helped make this a reality, and to say that we're here to say bye-bye to unnecessary imaging.
Thank you so much. And before you leave, I'd like to hand you our graduate certificate and trophy. So this is for you. And we really had good time together, and we hope you a lot of success in the future. Thank you so much.
So thanks IBM and Hadassah, and looking forward.
Thank you very much. Okay, now over to Erez Lugashi, the CEO of Biomarkerz, the future of mental health care feelings analysis.
Hi guys, my name is Erez Lugashi and I'm the CEO of Biomarkerz. And I want to let you know that being a CEO is actually quite hard, especially when they are awake. Pregnancy and childbirth. We normally think of this as an happy occasion, but in fact, in many cases, it's absolutely not. It's associated with mental health challenges. Talking about postpartum depression. Did you know that 20% of women are actually experiencing PPD? It's 1 out of 5. Out of them, 50% are being diagnosed, 15% are actually receiving the treatment, and only 6% sustain treatment. And this is quite a market failure. And the reason for that are 3. There is the social stigma. People don't like to talk about those things. The high cost and the problem with accessibility. The outcomes of PPD could be tragic. From infanticide and suicide to child development and to marital discord. To the economy, there is a huge toll, over $14 billion a year. My name is Erez Lugashi. I'm the CEO of Biomarkerz, a tech entrepreneur, and together with Professor Chaim Reuveni, the ex-CEO of Soroka, we have a solution for this problem. There are a few popular ways to diagnose PPD these days. One of them is by an encounter with a professional. It could be online, offline, but there is a lot of room for error because of the subjective judgment. Second, we have different types of questionnaires, but the problem is the social stigma. People are not always telling the truth, and this could fool the scores. And the third one is the AI. There are a few AI solutions, but the problem is that they are not dedicated for PPD. So the data set is actually being used for a grown person to a child, and the results could be misleading. Now let's talk about how we do it. The patient is taking an online questionnaire. In that online questionnaire, we extract his vocal quality, his speech content, and his facial expression. And based on those 3, we can actually evaluate his mental health state. After this evaluation, we are matching him with a provider based on his severity, location, and willingness to pay. In the third step, it's the actual encounter between the professional and the patient. And in this part, we're actually supplying the provider, the professional, with more insights in real time. We supply him historical information, how the patient is progressing, and we supply recommendation for treatment. To this date, we have an LOI with Meuchedet HMO. We are arranging our first clinical trial with Hadassah, and we're collaborating with domain experts from Be'er Sheva and Bar Ilan University and Hadassah Hospital. There is a competition, and I'm sure that you're familiar with few companies, few logos here, but let's talk why we stand out. We're the first company that actually built the data set dedicated to PPD and labeled by experts. Second, every digital biomarker is being validated in a clinical trial. And third is the technology. It's scalable, it's robust. You just need to replace the data set, and then you can reuse it to PTSD or to other mental health illnesses. Our value proposition for the patients is accessible service, is the personalized treatment and affordable price. For the mental health providers, for the professionals, we can increase their incomes. We can decrease their admin burden, and we supply them real-time objective insights. For the health insurers, we can minimize the claims, we will minimize the healthcare utilization, and we're gonna bring them additional value to supply to their customers. Our business model is based on subscription for our SaaS platform, and we charge additional fee for leads per session. The future is gonna be exciting, I can promise you that. Our technology gonna be leveraged this year to new peaks. And when I say that, I mean in the dataset side and in the algorithm side. In the clinical side, we're going to start our first clinical trial in Israel and abroad, and we're recruiting more technological experts. If you found Biomarkerz appealing, get in touch, and we would love to sit and collaborate.
Thanks for Biomarkerz pitch, Erez. We will join Erez in a second, but before that, we have a quick follow-up question from Nufar Amrani, who asked flowhow and Amit, what are the target markets at the moment, if only the US or other countries? And the short answer is yes, only the US at the moment. So thanks, Nufar, for your question. Now, let me move to Erez, who's here with me. Thanks for coming and sharing your pitch.
Thank you.
We have a question from the audience. Okay, we have one question, which is, we see successful companies in mental health care domain.
Mm-hmm.
What is your key differentiator, comparing to those companies?
Okay, so it's a great question. There are so many companies in the mental health care, but what we are actually doing, and if you're taking it out now to the technology side, we're doing a fusion of technologies, because there are technologies that are doing a detection of different types of mental health state by speech. Or there are companies that do it by NLP, companies doing it by computer vision, detecting different types of movements. We're actually doing a fusion. And the fusion is the key element that we believe in AI that could give us better results. Now, it's not that we are just looking at what the person is, how he's saying it. We actually understand the content, and we try to figure out different type of head movements or how the person is trying to articulate himself. Now, we actually take this data, the data that we are using in the clinical research, and we use this data as our data set. And we build our data set specifically with those key elements. Now, on the other side, we can go into the EHR and actually pull out different types of parameters, and to understand if this parameter is something that could be valuable for us in order to detect the person's mental health state. So if you're asking about what is our competitive advantage, definitely I would say that it's the data set that we are using, a specific data set, not something that is being made by acting players, and definitely the AI that we're using all the newest techniques. We are, of course, not building the frameworks for the AI, but we do build the features and the algorithm behind it. And everything is being tested and validated by a clinical team. It's not that we're gathering a group of students. We are actually bringing professionals, and they are doing the labeling of the data. So we put a lot of effort in doing the right labeling. So this is basically our competitive advantage.
Well, thanks for this very comprehensive answer, I should say. another question we have, you are concentrating and your focus is really on PPD at the moment. Do you have any other plans to expand, beyond that in any other clinical areas?
Okay, so not just other clinical areas, because I'm sure that the audience, when they hear about our solution, they're actually thinking about, wait, this could be in the media area, this could be in a security area, but we believe that focus is something that should be, at least at the start. We could never predict what will be in 10 years from now, but at the moment, there is so much to do in the mental health domain, no matter if we're doing it for the PPD, PTSD, or to understand different types of emotion in children. But the first step, of course, is the PTD. When we will conquer this market, we will start expanding to new markets. And this is the important thing. We cannot at start be a generic company, because when I explain to you about the data set, each data set is specifically for that case. We cannot use a PPD data set on PTSD, for example, people from the army. It's different behaviors. So we don't want to give faulty scores. And score is something that is very important, because we don't want to give a faulty reaction after it to the professional. So it will be false judgment or something like that.
Well, thanks a lot. I think we do not have any more questions at the moment. So before we move on to our next startup, I would like to invite and welcome Uri Hayek, the Chief Technology Officer of IBM Israel. Uri.
Hi everyone, I'm very happy to be with you today. And on behalf of the IBM and the AlphaZone team, I want to thank Hadassah Hospital, Professor Rothstein, Professor Eyal Mishani, Professor Oren Levy, and of course Dr. Tami Raz and Ariel Rabin, and all the team for having us on board as part of this great accelerator. We had difficulties, all of us had difficulties around this COVID period, but I'm very happy to say that despite the challenging period, the program was delivered online full force. This accelerator is very unique, especially because of the solid commitment of Hadassah to the clinical development of the startups. And on top of that, the combination of the IBM deep tech and Hadassah leadership and expertise to make great success stories told by the startups from all the three classes. I want to thank the AlphaZone team led by Yaniv Alon, Ronen Simantov, Yafa Steinbock, and Orly Sorokin for their effort and their work here. And last but not least, I want to congratulate you, the most important ones in this event, the graduate startup. You made a significant journey on your way to be successful, and I hope that we were meaningful for you. So good luck to you, and you will always be part of the Hadassah and IBM family.
Thank you, Uri. And before we move on, Erez, would like to hand you also our certificate and trophy.
Thank you very much.
To wish you a very good success in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Yaniv, and thank you the team of IBM and Hadassah, and of course Eli from Berry Katz. You were wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Okay, now over to Gal Golov. Gal, the founder and the CEO of Baibys Fertility, the future of IVF sperm selection.
Hi, my name is Gal, and I would like to introduce to you Danieli. בבקשה, צ'וקי. Yay! Hi, my name is Gal, and I'm from Baibys Fertility. Making baby seemed to be the easiest and most natural thing to do. However, this is no longer the case. We are witnessing a world crisis in world fertility. Why? Well, male fertility is dropping dramatically. Sperm count has reduced by over 50% in the last 50 years. Women are giving birth later. Unfortunately, IVF success rate is declining with age dramatically. IVF is booming. Today, 1 in 8 couples require IVF treatments, while in the near future, 1 in 5 couples would need IVF treatment. Being an IVF patient is a long, stressful, emotional, and financial roller coaster. So, how do we perform IVF? In 80% of IVF procedure, a single sperm cell is being injected into the egg. Unfortunately, this creates a higher birth defects while still the success rates are moderate. So how should you address these issues? How should we gain a higher birth rate and still have much lower birth defects? Selecting a sperm cell in order to inject it into the egg, at standard magnification, no morphological details can be seen. However, at high magnification, morphological details can clearly be seen. These morphological details are correlate with birth defects and success rate. Today, embryologists actually select one sperm cell out of millions. Manual solution is limited. The average time to perform this procedure is approximately 3 hours. It is subjective. It's really highly dependent on the specific embryologist that perform this procedure. It requires expensive and extensive training, and it's expensive. That's why it is not widely adopted. That is why we have created Baibys solution. Baibys is a fully automated AI-based sperm selection. It is fast, it's objective, it's fully automated, therefore it is affordable. Baibys' business model is based on recurring revenue from disposable components with a very high margins. Over here you may see a demonstration of Baibys algorithm to monitor and classify sperm cells. This technique is clinically and regulatory validated. In 2023, the IVF market is expected to reach $1.3 billion. Today, 2.5 billion cycles of IVF procedure are being made annually. The annual growth rate is 10.2%. Baibys team is composed of world-class experts in the field of IVF, business, AI, and science. We have made some significant achievement, including completing a proof of concept and raising over $1.8 million. Our next step is to get a second grant from the Israel Innovation Authority, to finalize our working prototype, to establish a huge database, and to initiate a clinical study. Our vision is to increase birth rate while decreasing birth defects for IVF patients worldwide in the most affordable way for a huge growing market using feasible technology in a company that already made some significant achievements. Thank you very much for your attention. I welcome you to contact us for any further information. Thank you.
Thank you, Gal, and welcome. Thanks for joining me here in the studio.
Pleasure being here.
Your very comprehensive pitch is very clear, and we do have, I think, a couple of questions. The first question is, you've mentioned that Baibys technology reduces birth defects in newborns. Can you please share what is the expected reduction rate of birth defects, and if you have any clinical evidence to support that?
Definitely. Okay, so thank you for this outstanding question. So definitely, yes, we have a clinical evidence, and our clinical evidence is based on previous research that was made. According to the research that was made with the manual system, the expected reduction rate of birth defects is more than over 50%. Of course, using our system, we expect to even increase this percentage significantly, because we expect that we will be able to use the AI technology to observe phenomena that are impossible to observe by a human being.
Thanks for that. We have another question, which is around the feedback from the IVF community or clinical community about Baibys ID. Did you get any feedback on that? Because it's not a huge community, but yet a very noisy one, isn't it?
Well, first of all, the IVF community in Israel is huge, but not only from Israel. We got, actually, I was pretty amazed with the feedback we received worldwide. Actually, most of the partners from within our company, our investors, are actually clinicians worldwide from Europe, from Israel, even from Africa. So we got really a very supportive attitude, and the chairman of the clinical advisory board of Baibys is one of the founders of IVF worldwide, which is Professor Mashiach. And really the feedback that we receive, that they expect these physicians, the clinicians, the people that do IVF daily, they say that they expect that it would be impossible to do IVF in the future without using such a system, because this having a baby, to know for sure, or to have a better percentage of getting a healthy baby, this is huge for couples, and this type of technology is really needed within this market.
Very interesting. Well, before you leave, I won't forget to hand you our graduation certificate and trophy. So this is for you.
Thank you very much.
And Gal, it's been a pleasure to have you with us during the 6 months of the acceleration program.
Same here, same here.
And we wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
This is yours.
I would like to deeply thank to IBM Accelerator. It's been an outstanding journey.
Hadassah Accelerator.
Hadassah, okay, Hadassah, yeah, of course, and it's been an outstanding journey. It was a very productive and fruitful journey for us. Thank you.
Before you leave, we do have one last question from Ophir Azuri. He's asking, are they going to apply the technology to fertilize egg as well, and what is the competition?
Okay, it's a great question. Thank you. So actually, this technology is already, we have a competition within the field of the fertilized egg. I can name 2 competitors. It's not really competitors because they deal with the egg, and that is AIVF. They do, I think, I personally know some of the figures in this company. They do an excellent job, and they found very interesting clinical evidence. There is another company in Israel that do further research within this topic, and it seems that they generate a really outstanding result, and we definitely expect to reach the same level of result very soon.
We have another question coming from Ira Prigat. Hi Ira, how are you? And she's asking, how does the test is done? Is it done in the clinic or is it done at home?
No, definitely at clinic. It's done by professionals, done by embryologists. So we actually give the embryologist a tool to improve eventually their outcome of the fertilized egg.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think no further questions. So again, thank you very much, Gal, and
thank you, Yaniv. It's been a pleasure, really.
For us too. Thank you.
Okay,
Take care. And now, over to Guy Goldman, founder and CEO of Olive Diagnostics, the future of at-home, note, urine tests.
Hey, you want to see what a urine lab looks like? Come, look how gross. This is what we do day in and day out. There's a systemic flaw in the healthcare system today. We go to the doctor when we're feeling sick. But if we go to the doctor when we're feeling sick, it's already too late. It's estimated that if we were able to early detect the 3 most popular chronic diseases today, we could reduce trillions of dollars in healthcare spending. The problem is, how do we know what's happening inside of us? Short of going to the doctor on a regular basis, which is completely impractical, how can we tell what's growing inside of us? Is it possible? Well, it wasn't until now. All of Diagnostics have made it possible. Hi, my name is Guy Goldman, and along with the head of the urine labs in the Hadassah hospitals in Jerusalem, and a dedicated team of optical engineers, data scientists, and neuroscientists, we have developed a sensor that you mount onto the toilet, and it does urinalysis every time you urinate. It's checking your health every time you pee. We are backed by Maccabi, an Israeli HMO, Cleveland Clinic, and Amgen. Urine has thousands of biomarkers, and if you add to it volume, color, and frequency, you are able to early detect thousands of diseases, such as hydration, UTI, kidney stones, and heart failure, not to mention cancer, diabetes, and prediabetes. The underlying technology is spectroscopy, a technology that was developed in the 60s. With advancements in speed of sampling and the reduction in component costs, we have been able to reduce our bill of materials to $50 per sensor. The real money is in the data. And this we are selling to people using a SaaS model. What inspired me to start this company was when my mother was undergoing chemotherapy in Jerusalem, and I was located in London managing a large company. The desire to get information about her vital conditions. Is she drinking? Does she have infections? Are her kidneys deteriorating? Was so important to me that I left my position there and started Olive Diagnostics. People who are my age have parents who are their age. Wouldn't it be good to be able to continuously monitor the people? Our patent pending and trade secret technology is undergoing clinical studies at Hadassah in Jerusalem. Today, our device can detect protein, nitrites, red blood cells, volume, color, and frequency. And we do it at a whopping 95% accuracy, which is way above any other home-based urinalysis system, namely urine sticks. Urine sticks today still require you to capture the urine in a cup, dip it in, and then take a picture. With our technology, all you have to do is pee, the same way you have your whole life. Throughout 2021, we're going to be adding more and more molecules to our system. Today, we are raising money to move our product from an MVP to our beta testing. Our beta testers are going to include Maccabi, Tzabar, who's an outpatient service provider, and 2 assisted living facilities in Holland. In addition, it's going to finance our CE self-certification, our FDA pre-submission, and our entry into the Dutch market. The last year and a half has taught us a lot. The main message has been social distancing and stay at home if you can. Because of this, there's been a surge in the market in telemedicine companies and home-based diagnostics. Olive Diagnostics is very well positioned to provide something that's been talked about for years, to analyze excreta. Excreta tells a really, really clear story on what's happening in your body. I would like to take an opportunity to thank both IBM and Hadassah for assisting in both the clinical and the technological part of our company. Thank you.
Well, thank you for this kind words at the end of your pitch, and the pitch itself very comprehensive. Thanks a lot, and I welcome Guy here with me at the studio. Guy, welcome, and
Thank you very much.
I know it's been a journey for you, from Jerusalem. Normally we do it vice versa, so no complaints for you.
Yeah, exactly.
We do have one question about your go-to-market strategy. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So initially we're starting with the third age monitoring, remote monitoring of the third age population. We're actually looking at those companies that will gain the most by preventing people from going to the hospital. By being able to do early detection, we can tell what's happening inside our body and know that certain viruses or infections are growing inside the body. And by doing early detection, obviously we can do early cure, which is substantially improves the quality of life of people. So we're focusing on three major markets, on the assisted living communities, the telemedicine, and the outpatient services. Those particular companies actually gain money and quality by having the people not go to the hospital. So if you can early detect, for example, a UTI, then you can take care of it with antibiotics. If you don't early detect it and the person becomes symptomatic, then they often go to the hospital, and they could be in the hospital for like 2 weeks, which is an extended period. So those are our three markets. The benefit goes to the company or to the organization that will be actually purchasing the product for their patients. After that, we're going to roll out to the more general public in more like a wellness type application.
I see. So as a go-to-market strategy, do you have a plan, and to what extent your plan covers this go-to-market in terms of the duration? In when you're going to have a selling product or buying customers?
Yep.
And what's your vision here for the long term?
Good. That's a great question. So initially we're starting in the European market. The reason we're doing that is because we can do a CE self-certification, which is a much easier process to go through versus the FDA. So we're starting very, very focused, one country in Europe, selling to those three industries that we spoke about. And then at the same time, we're doing our pre-submission to the FDA to start our FDA process. So we're required to do something called a de novo, which is a kind of an extended, take us between 9 to 12 months to do. But we can already start making revenue and showing that we can sell product. We're looking at reaching the European market already at the end of this year, at the way end of this year to reach the European market, and then be selling throughout Europe throughout 2022, and then hopefully at the beginning of 2023 already get to the US market with the FDA approval.
Well, I guess if no further questions, this is a time to thank you for your questions and for the entire journey you had with us. And for that, I would like to hand you also our graduate certificate and trophy. This is for you.
Thank you very much.
And Guy, good luck.
We will be seeing each other a lot,
yeah,
I'm sure.
And the toilets is just around the corner.
I've heard it all. I've heard it all. Thank you very much for everything for this past 6 months.
Thank you very much. Well, and now I would like to move to Itzik Ozer. Itzik, the VP Business Development of the Jerusalem Development Authority. Jerusalem as a whole, and from day one, had a very significant impact on our acceleration program. We are honored and privileged to have our accelerator in Hadassah, in Jerusalem, and with the support of the Jerusalem and Heritage Office, Bio Jerusalem, and of course the Jerusalem Development Authority. So led by Mr. Itzik Ozer, Senior Director of Business Development, as I mentioned before, I hand over to you. Itzik, are you with us?
Yes. Good morning, Yaniv. Good morning to you all.
Good morning, how are you?
It's a privilege for us, the Jerusalem Development Authority, to be part of the IBM Alpha Zone with IBM, Hadassah, and others here in Jerusalem. A little bit about the JDA. JDA is a joint venture between the government and the city for economic development. And for the past decade, we are at the JDA, been running the Bio Jerusalem initiative, that which aims to help companies like the companies in IBM AlphaZone to develop in Jerusalem. Shai Fleischon, who is running the BioJerusalem, and I will be happy to help every company to develop in Jerusalem with grants, space, and infrastructure. Thank you very much, and good luck for all of you. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Itzik, and of course also an opportunity to thank Shai for his continuing support. I know you are starting a campaign, I think even today, to get more traction of high-tech to Jerusalem. Can you elaborate on that for a second?
Yeah, it's a national campaign in television, billboards, and everywhere. We want to attract companies, high-tech environment companies to Jerusalem. You will see it tonight.
All right, so thanks a lot, Itzik, and thanks for joining us today. Now, last but not least, Tony Goldin, the VP Business Development of LiteBC, with his pitch of the future of the non-invasive blood tests.
Hello, my name is Tony Goldin and I'm the VP of Business Development and Product here at LiteBC. As you can see here, this is where the boring stuff happens. Now, let's go over to the lab to see where the really fun stuff happens. And here we are in the LiteBC labs. So let's just go and see what Dr. Orpeleg and Barry Lewewski are up to.
Oh, Tony, please give me a break. We're counting blood cells right now.
Sorry. Your blood can tell you a lot about the status of your general health. That is why around 3 billion complete blood count tests are conducted every year globally. However, there are some drawbacks to this process. It's an uncomfortable procedure, it's logistics intensive, and the time to results is extremely long. In addition, for patients that require continuous blood testing, they're at higher risk for anemia and infection. But what if I told you that it's possible to get all of this vital information from the blood without taking even a tiny drop? I'd like to introduce you the Hemoscope, the world's first non-invasive blood count analyzer. Simply place the probe on the patient's lip and the cameras will immediately start capturing the flow through the capillaries. Then, within seconds, you'll see those results on the screen monitor. Now, what is it that we're looking for? Here is an example of the type of cells that we're looking for in the blood. Now, as you can see with a standard microscope, because of the tissue and the skin that's in the way, there's simply not the resolution required to be able to count or differentiate those cells. Using LiteBC's proprietary patented DSV technology, you can see not only how many cells are flowing through, but to differentiate between them. So who is this useful for? Well, for the physician and the nurse, it helps them with the evidence-based decision making. For the patient, it's not only a more comfortable procedure, but will shorten their entire clinical process. And for the payer, there are cost savings, not just per test, with a return of investment after 650 tests, but also for the improved efficiency in the workflow. What type of patients is this going to be helpful for? Well, all of us at some point in our life had a blood count, but there are certain diseases that are chronic and therefore they require continuous testing, such as oncology patients that are undergoing treatment, chronic patients with COPD, a patient who is on a change of medication and requires monitoring, post-operative monitoring. In addition to that, acute cases where information needs to be given quickly, such as an emergency care triage. Of course, we're also aware that for children, it's very difficult to take their blood, so we're sure that they're going to appreciate it too. So we'll talk a second about our competition, which we can split into two groups. The first group are other non-invasive technologies. However, they're only capable of providing just one blood count parameter, simply not enough information to make a decision. Alternatively, there are other point-of-care blood count analyzers, but they're minimally invasive, which means there is a blood draw required. They take 10 minutes to produce the results, and they still require cartridges with reagents that require appropriate disposal. LiteBC is capable of providing all of these parameters in a lean, green, and clean way. So where are we currently at? We've been given financial support from both the Technion Drive Accelerator and the Israeli Innovation Authority. In addition, we've been given fantastic support from Hadassah's Accelerator, supported by IBM AlphaZone, for both clinical trials that have been taking place in Hadassah Hospital, and IBM have been fantastic with helping our software engineers develop the algorithms. We thank them both kindly for that. So, where is this journey leading us? We believe that the future will be blood count testing in your home, supporting both telemedicine and hospital-at-home platforms for a safer and better healthcare service. If you're as excited as we are about this journey, then we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, and this is an opportunity to tell you Mazal Tov for your new baby.
Recording in progress.
Well, and here with me is Or Peleg, Or, the CEO of LiteBC and founder, of course. Thanks for joining us. And Or, we do have a couple of questions, so I'll start with the first one. The first one is, when do you think you will reach the market?
Well, currently we are concentrated on the clinical trials in order to validate the technology. We have already started the clinical trials in Hadassah, and we expect to complete them by the end of this year. We expect that once we have validation for the product, it will take us around between 2 to 3 years to reach the market.
Thanks. There is an obvious question, I think, but yet we'll ask that anyway, is if you are seeking funding.
Yeah, well, actually we are now closing the seed funding, which will take us after the clinical trial, which will enable us to complete the clinical trials and also to develop our handheld device, which will be deployed in our beta sites. And after this, I'm sure we will be happy to receive any additional funding, which will take us to the market.
Yeah, I think goes without saying. Okay, no further questions. Then this is the time to hand you also our trophy and graduate certificate.
Thank you very much.
And it's been really a pleasure. I know you are based in Haifa, and yet you made the journey to Jerusalem and work with Hadassah. And we look forward to working with you also in the future. So thanks a lot and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, this is the time to say congratulations, class number 3. And before we close, I just would like to remind you that our registration for class number 4 is still open, and this is an opportunity for you, or if you know anyone, to register to our class 4 and enjoy all the benefits that we provide with our excellent accelerator at Hadassah Accelerator, powered by IBM AlphaZone. I would like to thank each and everyone for joining us today and attending this after these crazy times, and I hope that next time we can meet in person, hopefully. So finger crossed. Thank you again, everyone, and have a great week and day. Thank you a lot. Bye-bye.